Terrence here with Root Healthy Plants, and today I'm showing you my process for 2024 on how I'm going to overwinter my pepper plants and some avocado trees. Let's get started. So I have a few habanero pepper plants that I'm going to overwinter. I have a couple ghost pepper plants right here that are already losing most of their leaves, and I'm going to overwinter those, along with avocado trees that I've already done the process of overwintering. So I'm going to start digging up here for this, one of the bigger habanero pepper plants. I'm not worried too much if I hit some of the roots, because I might be nipping back some of those roots anyways. I don't want too big of a root system. Okay, here we go here. All right, so that's one of my habaneros right here, and I'm going to be clipping back some of these roots. But for now, I want to get that into this bucket here. So I want to shake off some of this stuff here until it can fit in this little pot right here. A little bit more. Yeah, that's about good right there. And then I'll put some more dirt on top for now, just to keep those roots covered up. We don't want exposed roots. We don't want our roots drying out. That's good for now. We got one habanero done. Let's go to this habanero right here. There we go. That should be about good. Put a little soil on the bottom this time. Twist them in so he gets in all the way. And then have all the roots in the container here. Cover it up so that the roots don't get dried out by the air or the sun. We don't want exposed roots. That's my second habanero. I think I might want to save this one too. So the pepper plants that I'm looking to really save are the ones that take the longest to produce. And that's my ghost pepper and my habanero. My Hungarian wax peppers, they are 60-day plants, so they produce pretty quickly. All right, that shall suffice for that habanero right there. Put some soil on the bottom here. And then put some stuff on top to cover those roots up. Now I'm going to dig up these two ghost peppers. There we go. We got under that pretty good right there. Ooh, look at that ghost pepper. Okay. See, this one still has some leaves on it. Some new leaves are growing in. I'm going to take those off. Just want to make this small enough to be able to fit in that pot. Put some soil on the bottom here. And take the roots, kind of twist them in so that they all get in that pot right there. And then cover it up. And while I'm doing the rest of the process, I'm going to water these in so that the roots definitively stay hydrated, and I know for sure that they're not going to dry out. So we got 3 habanero, and this will be my second ghost pepper right here. Like I said, I'm not overly concerned about getting every last bit of where this root structure goes, because some of these roots I'm going to trim back. And this will suffice plenty. I don't have any more in a small bucket, so this one's going to go in one of the bigger buckets. I'm going to have to get a little bit more growing medium here for this one to fill this bucket. Put that in there. And just enough to surround this. I don't want to take too much growing medium from this area. All right, that'll suffice. I have 3 habanero peppers and 2 ghost peppers in pots and ready to go to the next step of overwintering. Let's go. Now that I got everything that I need, I'm going to set up my bucket of water. So I'm going to fill this up. While that's filling, I have a rocket stove right here. So I'm going to fill this rocket stove with some kindling and some wood. Got my axe here and chop a few pieces. Don't forget those safety glasses. You want to make sure your wood is dry. You want dry wood. Got some kindling right here. Put some of this dry stuff under my wood that lights very easily. And then I'm going to put some small pieces of wood on top of that bed right there. There. That's plenty. Time to get the fire started. Okay. I'll move this to a safe place. Why am I using a rocket stove? I like this stove because it helps keep the fire contained. It's not much coming out but from right here as far as the flames. Once I get it started, it's easy to put out. It's convenient. I can carry it places. What I'm doing here is I'm setting a fire so that I can heat up some water for my tea kettle. And I'm going to pour water into my growing medium after I take the plant out. This is a little bit of a lengthy process, of course. In the meantime, I'm going to fill up my tea kettle here. Also, some of the benefits of boiling the water this way as opposed to doing it on a stove is the biochar from the wood. I get to also use that in my compost or directly put it into my soil. And I'm not wasting money on electricity or gas. This is the way nature intended. So while that fire's going, I'm going to move to my next step. I'm going to start with my ghost pepper. So I'm going to take this out, shake off the soil here. I'll spray this down with the hose. Definitely want to keep a hose nearby. So this looks pretty clean. This is acceptable to move on to the next stage. This bucket, I'm going to pour a little bit of my hydrogen peroxide. I'm going to use a little bit of soap. Swirl that around. Next, I'm going to dunk my ghost pepper plant in this hydrogen peroxide and soap and water mix. This right here, I'm going to fully submerge that plant. You definitely don't want to be bringing any bugs, critters, insects, pathogens into the home. So it's good to just play it safe, fully submerge that in there. While I'm sitting here, I'm going to go to my compost bin and fill this up because this is going to be my growing medium for when I bring it into the house. Okay, just filled this up. This is going to be my growing medium for the ghost pepper plant. Now, why am I not using the hydrogen peroxide mixture here for this? Well, there's no need. Another way to clear your soil to make sure you don't bring any pathogens, bugs, and all that other type of stuff is to pour boiling water into this mixture. And that's what I'm going to do with the tea kettle once it gets hot. I'm going to pour that boiling water in here and then give it some time to kill any bugs that's in here. And then I'm going to pour cold water into it to cool it off before I put my plant inside. So this is almost ready, but one of the things I also like to do is I like to spray down my area around where I'm holding a fire at so that there's no potential hazard. So anything that's flammable, wood, the leaves, we want to reduce and minimize any risks. Any embers that's flying off could hit something and ignite. So you just want to be conscious of what you're doing. And also when I'm done, I'll wet everything down, submerge all this in water, or spray it all down with water, make sure all the embers are out. Now that's looking like a rocket stove. That's a good fire right there. With something like this, with this rocket stove, it burns very efficiently once it's going. A lot of that smoke that you saw in the beginning is no longer. You should be able to clearly see that flame. There's a vent piece at the bottom here that allows me to give it more or less airflow. I like to keep it open pretty wide so that it gets efficient airflow, so that it becomes a rocket stove, because if I close it some, less air, then it'll slow down the fire, which it'll take longer for the wood to burn, but I want efficiency. And I have plenty of wood to keep feeding it if I needed to. Look how much it's not smoking. That thing is burning efficiently. It looks like it's burning super clean right now. I have a wood burning stove behind there that I usually use for cooking meals and stuff. And that has a bigger platform. It allows me to use this whole grate and put stuff on it, cook whatever I want to cook. It's cast iron, but for this right here, just to heat up this water, I don't need to load that thing up. And I could put a ton of wood. I could put a lot of wood in there and cook whatever I want to cook. Sometimes I come out here and cook meals just to feel like I'm more in touch and in tune with nature. Just cooking with wood, eating outside, embracing nature, smelling the trees, the flowers. And this helps stave back some of the bugs. The bugs don't like the smoke when it's smoking. Right now, you don't hardly see any smoke. That's an efficient fire right there. Check on my water again. Almost there. I think it's hot enough to pour into my growing medium already, but I want to make sure it's really hot and boiling. It's just not a rolling boil yet. There's bubbles in the bottom, bubbles on the side. I am so tempted to add some more wood in there. Let's look at what's going on in there. Ooh, I might need to add some more wood. This thing is definitely eating that wood up. Let's see if I can find a few smaller pieces. Ooh, you hear that thing whistle? Woo-wee. Now it's starting to smoke a little more because I added some more wood, but I'm going to fill it up again. But that thing is whistling. Whistle while we work. So it's time to pour the water into my growing medium. Sheesh. That fire's going. Pour my boiling water in here. All right, and I'm gonna fill it back up, put it back on there for the next batch. Wasting my fuel. The hot water is now in there killing any bugs or insects or anything that we don't want in the house. It's killing it. I'm gonna let that sit there for a few minutes, and I'm gonna run the hose through it to cool it down, because it will stay hot for a long time. You see this thing steaming. As I'm waiting, I'll prepare the next ghost pepper plant. Just taking out any wood chips or whatever, and just preparing it to get dunked in that hydrogen peroxide mix. Because this is going into a container where it looks like these roots are going to outgrow this container, what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim some of the roots now. So now this is in a way better shape and position to grow and to fit in this container without a problem through the winter season. So I'll sit that right there. Now it's time to run the cold water through the growing medium. I'm gonna let that run down. What I like to do is I'll reach down and kind of like move some of the soil up and to the side so that it helps drain quicker. But I'm also feeling to see how much heat is still retained inside, because I definitely don't want all that hot water killing my ghost pepper plant. This will make this whole process futile. Like, it's warm, but it's not super hot. Now I'll take my plant out. I'll stick this one in, and I'm gonna rinse this off now. Now we are good to put this in our growing medium. Well, the water has to drain a little more. Yeah, I'll put it in there. I'm just let that water settle down and drain through the bottom, and I'm going to bring this in the house, and that's how I overwater my avocado trees this year, my ghost peppers, my habanero peppers. I got a couple lemon trees that I'm saving, and maybe a couple bell peppers. I got 2 bell peppers that I'm saving and overwintering also. But that's my process. I dig it out the ground, trim the roots, dump it in my hydrogen peroxide soap and water mix. I run hot boiling water through my growing medium. Once I take it out, my hydrogen peroxide mix, I put it in the growing medium after I ran cold water through and cooled it down. Let it drain fully because it's still going to be dripping. See it dripping right there. After it's drained fully, I bring it in the house. I have these cafeteria trays that I use for my soil blocks and things like this. So I'm going to bring it in the house, bring it in my basement, and have it sitting on those cafeteria trays. And I do have indoor lights. I have a ton of lights that I use for growing and hydroponics, and when I'm preparing for spring. So I get an early start on spring with my grow lights and my shelves and my whole setup on the inside, which we're going to be doing more videos and doing topics on growing during the colder months, where if you're in an area or a zone where you can't grow outdoors all year round, we could talk about how we can extend that growing season to all 4 seasons by bringing it indoors and trying to be as efficient as possible, low budget as possible, and just experimenting with different ways. When it's getting dark, I'm going to finish overwintering the rest of my peppers and avocado tree. That's a small avocado tree right there. Tomorrow, I hope you liked the video. I hope it might have been entertaining for you or informative for you. If so, please hit that like button. Please share this video and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you on the next one. Keep it growing.